Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Residents and business leaders in the Tobin Hill community are coming together to address major issues that have them pitted against each other.
Metro health officials change our risk level when it comes to COVID-19, where we now stand in the fight against COVID.
And outside with live cam, it is absolutely pleasant this morning. A bit on the cool side, a bit of a breeze as well. And if I'm seeing things correctly, it looks like we have green lights at the top of the Tower of the Americas this morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It is Thursday, March 17th, and the green memo was read by everybody on our news team this morning.
We're all in check today.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. Well, so do you.
Thank you.
St. Patrick's Day.
Mike Osterhage is here with a bit of a different take. I know you had to go tone down your green a bit.
Since I have to stand in front of a green wall, I can't wear necessarily a green tie, but I'll go with the cufflinks in the pockets.
Because if you wore a brighter green, that would disappear on your wall.
Yes. It's always fun to talk to kids about that in school talks when you say, I have a hole in my chest right here. So,
well, you worked around it.
I mean, one thing we're going to have to watch out for this morning. It is much milder out there, but a patch of fog. Obviously, nothing is showing up right here. And we've got these temperatures that are in the 50s as of right now. But notice how, like, for instance, at New Braunfels, 52 degrees, and then the dew point's at 51. So when you get those two numbers running neck and neck with each other, you can start to see some fog forming. And when you have clear skies like we have right now, much drier air out there in portions of the hill country. One thing that's helping us as of right now is the fact that there is somewhat of a breeze. But again, we're going to have to watch out for a few patches of fog here and there. And if that, of course, you get some of that fog, it may make the roads a bit on the damp side. But nothing is showing up as of right now. Now, as far as the wind, like I said, it's helping us as of right now, but then with the drier air out to the west and those windy conditions, once again, that's prompting red flag warnings. This was where that fire weather watch was posted yesterday. That was upgraded into a red flag warning for basically all of the hill country, and outdoor burning is just not recommended at all today. And we're still going to have some windy conditions and probably a high fire danger again tomorrow. All of the allergens are on the low side this morning. And as far as waiting for the bus, well, jacket's a pretty good idea, even though we are much milder than yesterday. We're at 55 and we're going to be staying right around mid 50s. Watch out for a patch of fog this morning, and then later on this afternoon, gorgeous day, up to 84 degrees. The wind's going to continue to shift around to the west. That will pull in some drier air. Then we get a cool front coming on in here. Not a big blast of cold air, just 70s, and no low temperatures in the 50s tomorrow, and setting up for a great weekend. Details on that in just a couple of minutes. Steph, Mark.
Thank you, Mike. A Bexar County Sheriff's deputy resigns amid allegations he charged 2 cruises on an elderly woman's credit card. So Deputy Eric Reyes is accused of charging $5,000 to that elderly woman's account. He is also accused of trying to get that woman to sign over a credit card to him. The incident report was filed in January. Reyes resigned from the sheriff's office on March 9th. Internal Affairs and Public Integrity Unit are still investigating.
New developments in regards to our COVID-19 risk level. Earlier this week, Metro Health had indicated a low risk, but now it's been raised to the mild category. Yesterday, 71 new cases reported along with 1 new death. And last check, there are 152 COVID-19 patients in local hospitals.
That news comes as a new study indicates that even though a 4th dose of the Pfizer or Moderna COVID-19 vaccine was safe and boosted antibody levels, it doesn't offer much protection from Omicron infection. Now, the study was published Wednesday in the New England Journal of Medicine. The authors of that study say the results suggest we reach maximum immune response, quote, after 3 doses, and that antibody levels can be restored by a 4th dose, unquote. The authors said a 4th dose seemed somewhat more effective against symptomatic disease, but say the study was too small to determine vaccine efficacy.
Happening today, Tobin Hill businesses will meet to try to come to compromise to coexist. People in the area have been complaining about trash, fights, and property damage on St. Mary Street. A proposal on the table would be to limit parking in the area and hire staff to pick up trash. Another idea is to have bar owners share the cost of hiring more off-duty officers for the area. We'll have the latest developments on this story and bringing details right here on KSAT and KSAT.com. A surprise development in the Jussie Smallett case. The actor recently sentenced to jail time for staging a hate crime just to get attention.
And now he's being released. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the latest.
This morning, actor Jussie Smallett is a free man.
Jussie, how does it feel to be free?
Smallett walking out of a Chicago jail last night, flanked by security guards and his family. Just 1 week ago, he was sentenced to 5 months behind bars after being convicted of staging a hate crime for publicity, falsely reporting to police that he was the victim of an anti-black and anti-gay attack in 2019. But yesterday, an Illinois appeals court ordered Smallett be released while he appeals the conviction, acknowledging Smallett's offense was nonviolent.
We're here because the appellate court realized this was the right thing to do.
Smallett silent as he was ushered into a waiting SUV. His lawyers saying the actor broke down when they told him he could go home.
He pushed his hands on the glass and his eyes got teary. I think he had nearly given up.
His lawyer says Smallett had not eaten anything for 6 days, only drinking water. They argued he faced possible physical harm if he remained behind bars, a fear Smallett spoke of while being led to jail last week.
And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. I am not suicidal, and I am innocent.
The sheriff's office says Smallett was kept in a private cell with security cameras and an officer stationed at the entrance. Meanwhile, Smallett's appeal centers around the concept of double jeopardy. His lawyers argue he already paid a fine and served community service under a previous deal before he was re-indicted, but prosecutors argue the fine and community service were part of a voluntary agreement and should not qualify as punishment. Smallett's next court date will be determined once his lawyers file their appeal. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
In your other morning headlines, former South Carolina lawyer Alex Murdoch is facing 4 new charges. A grand jury is adding 4 new charges to the case against Murdoch, while his associate Corey Fleming is now also being charged. The men charged with 1 count of criminal conspiracy for conspiring to share a fee from a multi-million-dollar settlement. Prosecutors allege the 2 worked together to defraud the family of Murdoch's late housekeeper of insurance settlement money. The now suspended attorney was already facing 71 charges stemming from defrauding victims.
Flash flooding left people stranded in Birmingham, Alabama. The city's Fire and Rescue Service Department reporting it had to rescue half a dozen people from their cars yesterday. At least 1 person was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Floodwaters span between 5 and 6 miles.
A 16-year-old girl endured a harrowing ordeal and had to be rescued from dangerous ocean conditions in Hawaii. Take a look at this. The teen trapped on a rock at a natural tidal pool called Queen's Bath on the island of Kauai. Firefighters deployed an air rescue helicopter and lifeguards responded on jet skis, but it was a firefighter who hiked down on foot able to swim out to her and rescue her. She only had minor cuts. Queen's Bath is a popular destination when the surf is calm. It's been closed since October due to dangerous ocean conditions. Right now, 4:38, about 55 degrees.
And learning where hidden dangers are in your home could help reduce the risk of you and your family's risk of being hurt. So some important home safety tips that are straight ahead.
With backs against the wall, the Spurs dig deep and pull out a must-win against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We have highlights next.
A quick look at the roads with TransGuide this morning, looking over at Highway 90 at Loop 410. Looks like there might be a stalled vehicle. We'll be checking in with Stephen Cavazos in the next half hour.
And outside with Live Cam, another pretty morning out there. You're getting your day started with GMSA. Welcome back. The San Antonio Spurs in a must-win situation last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder, trying to catch New Orleans, who have a 2-lead game over the Spurs for that 10th play-in position. Oklahoma City native Josh Richardson getting the first 5 points for the Spurs, putting that 3 put up the Spurs 5-0. Keldon Johnson getting inside the paint, pops the floater. Spurs would lead by as many as 11 in the first. Second quarter, Josh Richardson, another 3. It's off the rim, but Josh Primo flies in to slam it in. OKC would actually tie the game at 51, but the Spurs knocked down 5 threes in the final 3.5 minutes to close the half on a 17-5 run and take the lead into the half. Keldon Johnson's outside shooting continued as he hit a contested 3 from the corner. Spurs on an 8-0 run to take a 16-point lead. Lonnie Walker driving baseline to throw down the 2-handed punch. It looks like the Spurs are going to run away with this thing, but OKC's Darius Baisley gets this 3 to fall at the buzzer, and the Spurs lead is cut to 7 going to the 4th. This one would go down to the wire. OKC up by 1 with 1:15 to play. Keldon to Pirtle down low for the bucket and the lead. Thunder take back the lead with under 5 seconds to go. Spurs last chance ball goes to Lonnie Walker, and he fires the three. Nothing but net. Spurs hold on for the win, 122-120. All right, Spurs' next game is tomorrow night. They're hosting the Pelicans at the AT&T Center. Tip-off is set for 7:30.
Well, nice job. They were ahead at halftime, and I was like, oh, I hope they hold on before I went to bed.
It was a fight.
Yeah, it was. Time now, 4:42 and 55 degrees for now. Still to come, Amy Schumer is a triple threat as a director, writer, actor of a new comedy, the new comedy series on Hulu. So we're giving you a look at Life and Beth.
After the break, home safety tips everyone in your home should know to avoid injuries and dangerous situations.
And welcome back. It's 4:45. The recent death of a 79-year-old woman walking across a drawbridge in Florida is causing some to call for new safety rules. ABC's Gio Benitez has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, an urgent warning about drawbridge safety after this moment over the weekend when a motorcyclist tries to cross a raising drawbridge in Daytona Beach. It's just one of the several incidents of people either trying to beat the bridge or getting caught off guard.
I see one lady, I don't know how to explain it, but she fell out.
79-year-old Carol Wright was killed last month walking across this bridge in West Palm Beach. Her family's attorney saying the bridge started to open without her knowing.
She was in the middle of the bridge, and when the bridge was starting up,
she fell 50 feet to the concrete.
People may be surprised to hear that this happens a lot more often than we think.
Our goal here, among other things, is to prevent this from ever happening to any other family.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you how to help prevent it from happening to you. With your GMA First Look, I'm Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
Well, nowadays, home safety means more than just locking your doors and windows. Safety experts say there are less obvious dangers you may not think much about. This morning, 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz has more on ways to protect your family from fires, falls, and other hidden hazards.
It's a scary moment walking into the laundry room and finding your dryer on fire. It happened to Jeff Renfro's wife.
My phone rang, and it was my wife calling from the basement, and she said, "Come downstairs right now and bring our fire extinguisher." So I ran downstairs, and our dryer was like just billowing smoke out of it.
A common culprit is lint.
It's estimated that about a third of dryer fires are caused by vents clogged by flammable fibers like lint. So it's really important that everyone has their dryer vent cleaned annually.
Consumer Reports identified hidden home dangers. In the kitchen, common injuries are burns and cuts, but some problems are traced to the refrigerator.
Your fridge may not be working properly, and you might not even know about it. And you might not know about it until it's too late and someone in your family is suffering from food poisoning.
Signs of a fridge on the fritz are butter gone soft, or condensation on the fridge, or ice on the freezer walls. Your refrigerator thermometer should be at 37 degrees and your freezer at 0 degrees. Next safety issue, your furniture. With young children around, dressers and bookcases should be anchored to the studs in the wall. And if you can't mount your TV, be sure it's on a stable piece of furniture and anchored to the wall. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide. Looking again there at Highway 90 at Loop 410. Looks like there might have been a stalled vehicle over there, but it's pretty hard to see right now. We'll be checking in with Steven soon.
Yeah, I see a vehicle there with its hazards on.
Yeah.
Kind of left center of the screen right now. Pretty heavy traffic out there this morning.
Yeah, considering it's 4:48.
On a Thursday morning. Mike Osterhage joins us now. Mike, I saw more bluebonnets today. They're getting a little bit more numerous here and there.
Haven't gotten many pictures yet.
Not yet.
So take pictures, do it safely, of course. So we're watching out this morning. We were talking about this fog, and 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, there wasn't anything out there, and then all of a sudden it just popped up. And last time I looked, and this was about a minute ago, this was at 3/4 of a mile visibility in New Braunfels, now down to a 1/4 mile. It has been dropping, just, almost as fast as you can just watch it drop like that. And visibility here in town is not as bad. Fog is thicker off to the east, and we are definitely going to have to watch all this kind of invade and work its way to the west throughout the morning. So watch that as you get ready to head out. And of course, where you get the thick fog, you're probably going to have some mist around the area or some damp roads. So that's the other thing we're going to have to watch out for this morning. Now here in town, obviously, visibility is very good. We don't have anything going on right now. And we've got these temperatures, as I mentioned, 55. Notice how the temperature dropped dropped. It was 52 in New Braunfels, and the dew point, the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, is at 46. So running neck and neck, very high. Humidity is up in the relative humidity up in the upper 90s there, and then with hardly any breeze, and you got those clear skies, and these are a lot of the ingredients that come together to help form that fog. So again, we're going to have to watch that, because with these clear skies, and if temperatures try and drop down and get closer to these numbers, we're going to see more fog developing. Out to the west, we do have some drier air, and that's what's going to be causing a problem, and eventually moving in here later on today, but causing a problem out to the west. First of all, as far as temperatures, with all the humidity around here, that doesn't allow us to drop as cool as we have been the past couple of mornings. So we're going to be really consistent throughout the rest of the morning. We have to watch out for some patchy fog all the way pretty much through the morning commute, and then by mid-morning, we'll start to see more sunshine. Wind is still going to be out of the south, and then it will continue to kind of shift around to the southwest and to the west, pulling in some of that drier air, and eventually pull in really dry air, and that's going to heat up quickly. We're going to make it up into the mid 80s later on today, and the wind is going to start to pick up mainly out of the southwest, and then tonight continue to shift around out of the northwest. And with those windier conditions and this very dry air that continues on in here, especially out in portions of the hill country later on this afternoon, that's what's prompting the red flag warning to be in effect, to go into effect, I should say. It's been issued 1 o'clock up until 10 o'clock this evening. So very high fire danger, and pretty much pretty high fire danger all around the area, but that's where the formal red flag warning is posted. And that's going to continue into tomorrow as well, because it's still going to be windy tomorrow. 75 degrees today at noon. Sunny. It's going to be on the breezy side, especially later on today. Got to watch out for the fog this morning. And then 84 degrees for a high temperature. So very much on the warm side. Now, tomorrow, in behind yes, technically a cold front, but it's not that much colder yet. Temperatures will be down in the mid-70s, still right about normal. Lows in the upper 40s, more of a jacket weather situation going in toward the weekend. Fantastic weekend tomorrow in through most of Sunday. Clouds move in here late Sunday. We're still looking at a chance for some rain on Monday, and we warm up very quickly on Tuesday. Another kind of reality check, if you will, or keeps us from getting too warm and humid by the middle part of next week.
Yeah, many of those mornings stay kind of chilly, don't they, Steph?
Yeah, I mean, it's just dress in layers kind of week, I guess, which is fine by me. I
was supposed to go out of town this weekend, and I'm like, well, what do I, you got, this is the time of year you have to pack for almost all weather conditions, you know, cold and warm. Just in case.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right, thank you, Mike. 4:52, 55 degrees.
And the pain got a little too real for one Walking Dead star after he got hurt on the set. We're going to tell you what happened in today's Showbiz Report. And welcome back. It's 4:55. Turning Red is out on Disney, and Amy Schumer's new comedy is set to debut on Hulu.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
Is Pixar's Turning Red too adult? Director Domi Shi doesn't think so. She tells me she's heard the claim that the animated adventure about puberty isn't for kids, but she disagrees.
I wish I had a movie like this when I was 13, because I did not know what was going on at all. So if this could just spark conversation about it and help girls and boys everywhere feel a little bit normal about themselves, I think that's everything, you know?
Turning Red is out now on Disney+.
I've had over 30,000 drinks. I don't really chew my food, and I'm like barreling toward 40.
Out tomorrow, Amy Schumer confronts her past in Life in Beth. The dramatic comedy series is loosely based on her own life and physical and mental scars she acquired as a teenager. And she says one thing she hopes people take away from the show is the importance of being nice to your younger self.
Confronting the trauma from that age, from your teen years, and showing empathy to who you were then so you can really move forward.
Life in Beth co-stars Michael Cera. It's out tomorrow on Hulu. The world of zombies is dangerous. Walking Dead star Norman Reed is finding that out the hard way, suffering a concussion on set. We're told he's recovering well and will return to work soon. No details on how he was hurt. And happy birthday to actor John Boyega, the Star Wars star turning 30 today, while Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan is 55. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
457, 55 degrees.
Netflix is cracking down on password sharing, what the company says is doing to prevent it.
Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of military aid on its way to Ukraine from the U.S. after President Zelensky made a plea for help from the U.S. Congress. New details are coming up.
And a quick look at the roads with Trans Guide. Stephen Cavazos is here. I just talked to him in the hallway, so we're going to be checking on this situation here at Highway 90 and Loop 410.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Following an impassioned plea from Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky to Congress yesterday, President Biden is sending a huge new round of military aid to Ukraine. We have the latest on the war effort against Russia.
A statewide teacher shortage has school districts here struggling to fill vacancies. A look at some possible reasons why.
And the forecast is about to get interesting in the next 7 days. Mike is tracking a couple of fronts out there. This morning we are hovering in the mid-50s. Good morning, everybody. St. Patrick's Day. Good morning. It's Thursday, March 17th.
Thanks for joining us. We all got the green memo, dressed appropriately, and the weather will work out as well.
That's right. Mike is standing by with, I tell you what, yesterday, I thought the weather day before yesterday could not get better. Yesterday was outstanding, Mike.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Today, very nice as well. The difference being we are milder this morning, and the picture behind you and the picture behind me, as you can see, everything looks very nice, very clear out there. However, we have to watch out. We can see a little bit further off in the distance there, and we'll do it with the map, and you can see that the fog is starting to spread. So just 10 minutes ago, basically, it was about a quarter-mile visibility in New Braunfels. It has now dropped down, gone up to 1 3/4 miles. However, it's starting to work its way. The fog is down I-35, so right around Universal City, Converse, Randolph, visibility has dropped down to 3 miles. Everything's pretty good throughout the rest of the metropolitan area. Obviously, more fog off to the east and to the southeast, and this will continue to work its way to the east. So around Pleasanton, that's one of the spots you usually tend to see the fog before everybody else, and you tend to fog up a little quicker. So watch around there. Nothing off to the west of us as of right now. Temperatures, we've dropped down to 53 in town, 49 in New Braunfels, and the humidity is there. So these numbers are kind of running neck and neck with the actual dew point temperatures, and that's what's helping to cause some of that fog. Then you look out to the west and everything is very, very dry out there. That dry air will eventually make it on in here, but the problem is with the dry air and then the wind picking up out to the west, that's what's prompting the red flag warning. So any outdoor burning is definitely not recommended out there to the west. And we're still going to keep this situation around tomorrow with dry conditions as well as windy conditions. And given the fact we don't have any rain for the next few days, you just want to really be careful with any sort of outdoor burning. Mold, juniper, elm, oak. Still oak is on the low side. We're not starting to see it pop up in the pollen count as of yet, but mild oak leaves are falling, so you know what's to come. A couple of clouds around this morning. Patchy fog. We have to watch out for their milder temperatures. Jacket's still a decent idea. Sunny, breezy, mid-80s. You won't need it by later on this afternoon. And again, those windy conditions not only are just going to be blowing everything around, but that's causing that red flag warning out there to the west of us. A little cooler tomorrow. We'll be in the 40s once again, mid-70s. Closer to normal and on the cool side for low temperatures. And then the weekend looks absolutely fantastic. And yes, we do have that rain chance next week. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos. Good morning, sir. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, Mike. Well, things look pretty decent here from this shot at TransGuide. We're taking a look at US 90 at Loop 410. Now, while traffic is moving, if you take a closer look, we do have some flashing lights out there. Driver is experiencing some trouble, so make sure to move over or slow down. Haven't spotted a Hero truck just yet, so hopefully that driver can get the help that they need, and that way everyone can get to where they need to be safely and, of course, on time. And that's not really going to be a problem this morning. And as you see right here on our map, we have lots of green roads, which is pretty fitting for the day, given that it is St. Patrick's Day. But right now, no delays here in the metro area. And if you're traveling into San Antonio, that's the same case here. 25 minutes across the board from I-10 eastbound Bernie to downtown SA. 281 southbound Boulevardy, 25 minutes. And again, 25 on 35 southbound, traveling in from New Braunfels. But of course, we're going to watch closely the roads here, and we do have some construction spots that drivers need to be alert of, and that way they can start planning those alternative routes. We'll have more on that coming up in the next few minutes. Mark, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephen. Now to the latest developments on Russia's war in Ukraine. Ukrainian military says it is now going on the offensive and will launch counterattacks against Russian forces as they strike more civilian targets across the country.
And just last night, local officials say Russia bombed a theater that hundreds of Ukraine civilians were using for shelter. ABC's Fiesta Facts reports.
New Russian airstrikes pummeling multiple cities across Ukraine. This theater in Mariupol among the latest targets in the war. The property seen in satellite images marked with large white Russian letters saying children. Ukrainian officials say hundreds of civilians were hiding in the building for safety when it was attacked. It's unclear how many people were injured or killed. In the city of Chernihiv, videos of the aftermath of another devastating strike. The U.S. Embassy in Ukraine tweeting, quote, Russian forces shot and killed 10 people standing in line for bread. Ukrainian forces are stiffening up their resistance, ready to launch counterattacks against the Russian onslaught. One of the tiniest militaries in the world, staring down the Kremlin's army, the second largest in the world.
The Russian army is stalled. The Ukrainian military has been able to stop its movement towards Kyiv and towards most of the big cities. So the Ukrainian military has done what no one expected it to do.
U.S. lawmakers giving Ukraine's President Zelensky a bipartisan standing ovation after he delivered a rare virtual and emotional plea to Congress, asking for the U.S. to send more aid to his country and impose a no-fly zone over Ukraine, a request the U.S. has already rejected.
I'm addressing the President Biden. You are the leader of the nation.
Hours later, President Biden unveiling $800 million in new military aid for Ukraine, including powerful anti-aircraft weapons. And then, for the first time, accusing Russian President Putin of war crimes.
I think he is a war criminal.
And the UN Security Council is holding an emergency meeting today to discuss the growing humanitarian crisis Putin's war has created in Ukraine and surrounding countries like Poland. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
The Russian war in Ukraine inspiring thoughtful conversation here in San Antonio by the World Affairs Council, a panel of experts, including the first ambassador to Ukraine, weighing in. The discussion followed the Ukrainian president's plea to Congress yesterday to close the airspace above his country, essentially asking the West to police the skies and prevent Vladimir Putin from continuing airstrikes on Ukrainian targets.
I fully understand the caution regarding NATO or the United States getting involved in an open skies policy. We do not want to be in a situation where you have a direct conflict between the United States and Russia, or NATO in general, and Russia.
The former ambassador explaining Biden and NATO's hesitancy, avoiding direct conflict with Russia, meaning avoiding a potential for the start of a third world war.
And we are gaining some insight into the teacher shortage here in Texas, including right here in San Antonio.
That's right. Many have left the profession are citing the stress of the pandemic, disrespectful students, and pressure from lawmakers and parents. Many Texas educators say they've had enough. There are plenty of teacher vacancies that school districts are struggling to fill. Still, some retired teachers with decades of experience say before giving up the profession, teachers can seek out mentors who can advise and support.
There are also online resources which can be helpful. Another idea they suggest is for districts to include teachers in the hiring process of a school principal.
Even when she knows parents are wrong about different things, then that makes it tough on the rest of the faculty.
To tackle the state's teacher shortage, the Texas Education Agency is creating a task force which will include some teachers. When the task force was initially announced by Governor Greg Abbott, there were no teachers on that task force.
Well, happening today, the San Antonio St. Patrick's Day tradition continues, dyeing the San Antonio River green. The large crowd is expected to gather along the river this afternoon to turn the river green. It's an annual tradition. It's been going on since 1968. The event will take place between 1 and 3 p.m. If you can't make it out today, there'll be another chance to see the river dyed green this coming Saturday afternoon. That's when the parade will take place at 4 o'clock. And Steph says the best seats are over at Arneson River Theater for Saturday's parade.
Yes, they are. A lot of fun and can't wait to see it. I hope maybe I get a chance. I know we're going to see it Saturday, but maybe we'll get a chance today as well.
Wow, the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be super busy, aren't they?
Yes, they are. And with Fiesta coming as well.
We jump right into Fiesta this year, which is in person. All the events are back. 5:09, about 55 degrees.
Netflix says if you are using someone else's password to, use it for Netflix, enjoy it while you can. They're able to launch a new feature to put an end to it.
Just like everything else, airline tickets have risen in price. Now, airline officials say the prices could go even higher because of demand. We'll tell you how much more.
And taking a look outside with live cam starting at 55 degrees. Not as chilly as it was yesterday morning, but you still may need a sweater for the morning hours. We'll be right back. And welcome back. It's 5:13. In your morning consumer headlines, millions of bottles of airborne gummies are being recalled due to an issue with their containers. The Consumer Product Safety Commission posted the recall notice on its website saying the company behind Airborne has received 70 reports of the cap or seal popping off bottles. There have been 18 reported minor injuries, including an eye injuring needing medical attention. RB Health is pulling more than 3 million airborne gummy bottles off of their shelves. The recall affects select 63 and 75 count bottles in blueberry, pomegranate, orange, and assorted fruit flavors. The gummies were sold at several retailers and online from May 2020 through February of 2022.
Well, heads up, folks. If you're planning a flight, expect to pay a whole lot more. Delta and American Airlines say the demand they're seeing right now is unprecedented. Both airlines had record days for passenger bookings just last week, which means they're charging more, about 8 to 10% more than what they thought they'd be charging. It's a big boost for the airline industry, which lost tens of billions of dollars during the pandemic. Prices are still not back to where they were pre-pandemic at this point, but that could change very, very soon.
Time now, 5:14 and 55 degrees for now.
Later on GMSA, how you can learn to draw characters just like Disney animators. We'll tell you where you can go and when.
And Google is offering a new Google Classroom tool that can give students more assistance when remote learning. The details are next.
I'm a fancy exercise bike newbie, and I've gone from zero to obsessed in like 3 days. Woo! Come on, Milwaukee, after riding 12 miles of nowhere, I'm taking a detour. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, you could be working out a way to pay for this yourself.
Get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem for a whole lot less.
It's my 552 woke up like this migraine medicine. It's Ubrelvy for any time, anywhere migraine strikes without worrying if it's too late or where I am. One dose can quickly stop my migraine in its tracks within 2 hours.
Unlike older medicines, Ubrelvy is a pill that directly blocks CGRP protein, believed to be a cause of migraine. Do not take with strong CYP3A4 inhibitors. Most common side effects were nausea and tiredness. Ask about Ubrelvy and learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Well, bad news this morning. Netflix is unveiling a new feature. They may end password sharing between family and friends. ABC's Mona Abdi has details on what is expected in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, cracking down on sharing passwords. Netflix says it has looked the other way for years, but thanks to shrinking revenues and increased competition, people will now have to pay up. One idea it's testing, allowing subscribers to continue sharing, but pay more every month. Microsoft just launched its first AI-powered smart camera for the Surface Hub 2. The $800 device can automatically reframe and adjust lighting without distortions, and it offers a wide view to make sure everyone in the room is visible to remote viewers during meetings. Finally, Practice Sets is the newest Google Classroom tool. After a teacher sends out a set of problems, an algorithm will provide hints to students who seem stumped. A resources sidebar will display videos and notes that might be useful. Now, teachers should know the hints can be turned off. And those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Time check 5:18 on your St. Patrick's Day.
Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we do have some flashing lights out here at View 410 and Perrin Vital. Let's get a closer look. Now, this is the left two lanes that we're looking like. A crash was actually reported in this direction. So right now, we are seeing that traffic that is moving through that area is moving pretty slowly, given that it's just a little bit after 5. This is not an area you're going to want to be traveling in right now. Take a look right here at the map, because we're seeing the impact in the eastbound lanes of 410. Again, at Perrin Vital Road, where that crash has been reported, left two lanes are where you're going to see those first responders. So make sure that if you do have to head this way, move over or slow down. Let's take a drive up over here. As I mentioned, there is going to be some road work toward Live Oak. This is going to be happening around 9 this morning, wraps actually around 4 in the afternoon. Keep in mind, drivers can expect a double lane closure on the northbound frontage road from Shin Oak Drive to Pat Booker Road. So keep that in mind. That will start at 9 this morning. But driving up toward 35 in New Braunfels, things look okay, but this is an area we're going to watch closely as the morning does go on. You can see the map's not showing any significant slowdowns in the areas, but right now the big problem is going to be back here in town at 410 at Perrin Vital, guys.
All right, Stephen, thank you for the update. And if you're keeping score, yes, everybody is wearing some shade of green today.
Yes.
This is green.
That is green there, and Mike's got green too. You guys had to wear more subdued greens today.
For the green screen.
Yeah.
Just because, we stand in front of green walls and everything. All right, once again.
On the fog.
I'm sorry?
What's the latest on the fog?
Well, I had thrown this map up there. Visibility at Randolph area was 3 miles. Turned around, looked back down to a quarter mile. So that's how quickly this is changing, going up 35. Now, Steve was just checking out some of the TransGuide cameras up and around New Braunfels, and there's nothing that's really showing anything as far as reduced visibility. But obviously, it is getting thicker at times. And of course, then you got to deal with some of the maybe that mist or that kind of dampness on the road. So that's what we'll have to watch out for. And this is going to be something I have to keep an eye on throughout the rest of the morning. More fog down to the south and east, Beeville, Victoria, a lot of it, and nothing out to the west. So it's pretty much going to be, say, cut the area in half, almost right along 281. Fog to the east, clear skies off to the west, and that's what we're seeing looking off to the west as of right now. Just be on the lookout, though, for some of this to continue to spread, because once we start to see it right around Randolph and on the northeast side of Bexar County, it does tend to spread sometimes further westward. And off to the west, though, what we're going to be seeing before any of that moves in here, the beautiful moon setting, and it's full tomorrow. It's been gorgeous this week. Temperatures are going to be staying pretty steady throughout the next couple of hours, and as temperatures stay steady or fluctuate just a little bit, and clear skies in this situation don't really help us out that much, because that can allow temperatures to drop down and help out with all the relative humidity and help out forming some of that fog. So that's what we have to be on the lookout for throughout the rest of the morning commute. We're going to see more sunshine later on today, and then things are going to start to warm up fairly quickly. We'll still keep some humidity around here in town through about midday, and then the wind will continue to shift around to the southwest and then out of the northwest later on. And that's going to then pull in drier air. That's going to help temperatures to heat up. And then eventually temperatures will be dropping down with a cool front moving on through here, but not before we have the red flag warning that goes into effect at 1 o'clock up until 10 o'clock with the windy conditions. And you got that dry air that's already in place, and it's going to be getting drier out there in the western counties later on today. And for the rest of spring break, if you had spring break this week, it's been absolutely fantastic, and that's going to continue. Nice and warm today, slightly cooler, but boy, that's splitting hairs. I mean, these are fantastic days. And then by Monday, good news is we do have a chance for some rain around here, and it's still looking It's encouraging for the chance of rain on Monday. 75 degrees today at noon, sunny and breezy. Windy conditions, of course, we are going to have that red flag warning out in our western counties. 84 for a high temperature today. Then we get the cool front moving through tonight. So, okay, that puts us back down slightly below normal for low temperatures. Highs are going to be, once again, mid and upper 70s. Fantastic going into this weekend, albeit very dry. Fire danger is still going to remain high even through the weekend. Watch it with any outdoor burning, and those rain chances come in here on Monday.
Can't emphasize that enough. Fire crews have been so busy lately.
Yeah, because, I mean, anything pops up and those winds, especially out to the west, just, I mean,
it doesn't take much.
Yes.
Just one little ember.
Yep.
So it's good we have the chances of rain at least on Monday.
Right.
Thank you, Mike.
523, about 55 degrees.
And the Phantom of the Open is coming to theaters this summer. First look coming up.
5:26 today in entertainment news, learning from the best in animation and the worst in golf.
Here's CNN's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
I'm going to show you how to draw Olaf.
Captain Hook.
Cusco from The Emperor's New Groove.
Simba.
Mirabelle from Encanto.
We are going to learn how to draw the genie.
Artists from Walt Disney Animation Studios show viewers how to make the magic in the new show Sketchbook. In each of the 6 episodes, an artist teaches how to draw a character that either they helped create or inspired them to become an animation artist. Sketchbook premieres April 27th on Disney+.
Please welcome on the team, Morris Flipcroft.
Where is it?
Oh, God.
How does it feel to have shot the worst round in the history of the Open? That's hard to tell. It's the first round I've ever played.
Here's your first look at Mark Rylance and Sally Hawkins in The Phantom of the Open, based on the true story of a man who entered the prestigious British Open despite never having played golf before, infuriating the sports elite and becoming a folk hero. The Phantom of the Open swings into U.S. theaters June 3rd. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
5:27, 55 degrees.
Broadway is finally back in the Alamo City. Coming up in the next half hour, we're going to tell you when you can see Rent.
Law enforcement conducting an all-out search for a young woman possibly abducted from a Walmart parking lot in Nevada. We'll tell you what officials know right now. Coming up, a look at how local tourism is doing 2 years into the pandemic.
And taking a look outside with live cam. Kind of chilly for now if you want to grab a light jacket, but later on it's going to be beautiful.
Good morning. It's Thursday, the 17th.
Thanks for joining us. Happy St. Patrick's Day. If you plan on going to the Riverwalk to see that green river, the weather will work out.
It will. This morning, though, you may have a hard time seeing the green for the fog.
Yeah, that's the thing we've been watching, especially off to the east and to the northeast. Now, looking off to the east here from the airport, obviously things are looking pretty good. We've also started to see a few more clouds just kind of slide in here in the past about 10 minutes. So that can actually help out with the prevention of fog because it acts like a little bit of a blanket and keeps things from cooling down too awfully much around here. But now, again, these numbers have been changing just every couple of minutes. Visibility is at half mile at Randolph, but it's now dropped down to 3/4 of a mile in New Braunfels. The Weather Service, I was just reading one of their conversations, said that they're obviously monitoring the situation. They may issue dense fog advisory, just kind of watching this situation as it continues this morning. And of course, where there is the fog, you may have some damp roads out there, so especially off to the east. So just watch it around maybe Stinson tends to fog up more quickly, and this is going to start to spread a little further to the west, but it's not going to move off into the hill country. A lot more fog, obviously, further off to the east and kind of divide the area in half. First of all, temperatures, there's nothing that really jumps out as far as any big division. We're basically a couple of exceptions here and there, 47 at New Braunfels, but pretty much in the mid 50s on average. Out to the west, we do have the red flag warning, and that's where the really, really dry air is, and then winds are going to be picking up. Also, take note that Medina and Zavala counties were just added to this red flag warning. It goes into effect at 1 o'clock up until 10 o'clock, so an extremely high fire danger. And just because counties such as Bexar County is not included in it, you want to really take it easy and really watch it with any sort of outdoor burning, even firing up the grill, not only today, but even through the weekend, because we're going to remain very dry and kind of breezy. All the allergens are on the low side this morning and throughout the rest of today. A lot of sunshine, but again, breezy, and winds are going to continue to shift around. Drier air will begin to and continue to move on in here throughout the afternoon hours. Then we get to kind of a cool front, if you will, just to shave some of the little bit of the temperatures off the next couple of days and setting us up for a great looking weekend. Then that rain chance to start off next week. More on that coming up. Traffic authorities, Steve McGlassos. I'm looking out of the corner of my eye, see a bunch of lights out there.
And stop and go traffic as well, Mike. Unfortunately, this is a crash that we're seeing here off of 410. This is a view at Starcrest. Now we're getting a wider look thanks to our friends at TransGuide, and you can see those vehicles that are slowly moving and then coming to a stop, and that's because that crash is causing some issues for these early morning commuters. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map because the impacts are already starting to show here in the eastbound lanes of 410. Again, right at Perrin Bidle, lots of orange and yellow mixing with that green. That's not a good sign, especially for drivers that are heading in these eastbound lanes, maybe even trying to get on a 35. So if that is your route this morning, maybe look for that alternative route. We'll look for those as well, but let's go ahead and get get the wider look at the map at 5:33. We're not really seeing any other issues here in town, just this particular incident. And if you have to travel into San Antonio, the good news is no delays at this hour. Pretty green from Seguin, 29 minutes to downtown San Antonio in the westbound lanes of I-10. And right now we're looking at 22 minutes coming in from 87 in Lavernia northbound and just 27 minutes from Flotusville to downtown SA. Again, the big problem right now is going to be 410 at Starcrest. The morning is still young. We'll see how things shape up and give you those updates as the morning does go on. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. It appears that San Antonio police have launched a new crackdown on what is known as the oldest profession. They conducted a prostitution sting, rounding up men who they say were attempting to solicit those services.
Katrina Weber is live on the city's west side where those arrests happened. Katrina, what have you found out so far?
Well, close to half a dozen men, possibly more, were all rounded up yesterday afternoon on and around these streets. Now, they are all facing the type of charges that would be applied to customers involved in prostitution. Those men range in age from their 20s to their 40s. One of them also is charged with possession of marijuana. Now, we don't know the exact details yet of this operation, but in many cases like this, an undercover police officer will pose as a prostitute and the detectives will close in and arrest the would-be customers. All of those men who were arrested yesterday were taken to jail. Some of them have already posted bond and been released. Now, all of those arrests happened in this area that is the main corridor of the west side that is on and off of Guadalupe Street. Now, all of the people, again, who were arrested yesterday were picked up in this area. They've all either posted bond or are still in jail in the process of doing that. And usually in these cases, police will conduct these prostitution stings over the course of several days. So we don't know yet if there will be more arrests involved. Reporting live on the west side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. A woman is rushed to the hospital in critical condition after being involved in a rollover accident. Happened just before midnight on Applewhite Road. San Antonio police say the woman and two other people were in a sedan when the car rolled over. The other two people also went to the hospital. Their conditions are unknown. Police are still investigating.
The San Antonio tourism industry is welcoming visitors with open arms this spring break. And while official hotel occupancy numbers will not be available until next month, those who work along the Riverwalk say they are seeing the pre-pandemic crowds return. Business owners say spring break is kicking downtown tourism on a good note.
After this, we go into summer and then we just keep rolling because everybody's off. And of course, we have a lot of tourists coming.
It's sunny. Bring sunglasses. It is great weather. It is great weather this time of year. It is. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The low humidity and the temperature is really good. It feels good to be here.
And next week, San Antonio will host the South Regional NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament. This was the 2019 season of St. Patrick's Day. And then there's a shot there followed by the 2020 season when the city started to shut down because of the pandemic. And now I think we'll have video to look at the crowds that are trickling back.
Quite a change, isn't it?
Yeah, good to see.
Well, police near Reno, Nevada are searching for a young woman possibly abducted from a Walmart parking lot.
And now they are releasing new surveillance images. ABC's Andrea Fujii has more.
This morning, the search intensifying for an 18-year-old Nevada woman who may have been kidnapped in her own car.
Some monster takes them. You don't know what's happened. You don't know where they are.
Naomi Erion was last seen Saturday around 5 a.m. in a Walmart parking lot near Reno, waiting for a shuttle bus to take her to work at a nearby company. When she didn't show up and didn't return home, her family called police.
They confirmed that she had missed her shifts both Saturday and Sunday, which was really unusual. My daughter was extremely reliable.
The local sheriff's office says this person may be involved in Erion's disappearance. They say surveillance video, which has not been released, shows a person walking from a nearby homeless camp, lurking around vehicles before getting into the driver's seat of Erion's car and then driving away with Erion in the passenger seat.
To me, it looked like a clear abduction.
Police found Erion's car Tuesday, abandoned in a nearby industrial park. Detectives say evidence in the car suggests her disappearance was the result of a crime, but they wouldn't specify what they found. Investigators also say they believe the driver of this truck has a direct connection to Erion's disappearance. With so many questions, Erion's family says they worry more with each passing day.
We can't lose sight of what's really important, and that's Naomi's life. Time's ticking. We're out of time.
Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
In your other morning headlines, after only 6 days in jail, actor Jussie Smallett was released as he appeals his conviction. An Illinois appeals court ordered his release last night. He's seen here wearing a blue mask without a hoodie. The order required Smallett to post a $150,000 personal recognizance bond before being released from custody. The court also granted a motion by Smallett's attorneys to delay their client's sentence. Smallett was sentenced last week to 30 months of probation, including 150 days in jail for falsely reporting to Chicago police that he was the victim of a hate crime in 2019.
3 different challenges to restrictive voting laws in Texas have been knocked down by a federal appeals court. The Fifth Circuit denied a 2020 challenge to the state's ban on straight ticket voting yesterday. Then in a second ruling, judges denied a pandemic-related challenge to the Texas mail-in voting regulations. The third case to be shut down was a 2019 lawsuit targeting Texas's verification rules for mail-in ballots. In all 3 cases, the Fifth Circuit said the lawsuits failed on procedural grounds. 2 of the 3 judges on the federal panel were appointed by former President Donald Trump.
540, about 56 degrees.
And if you're looking for someone to go on long walks with you, the Humane Society may be able to introduce you to your perfect partner.
A Broadway show set to open this weekend in San Antonio. Just ahead, find out when you can see the musical Rent.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, it's 56 degrees for now, but later if you want to see the river dyed green, the weather will be beautiful. We'll be right back.
The San Antonio area is still experiencing a blood shortage, and today you can help by donating blood. The Wonderland of the Americas Mall is hosting a blood drive today. It's being held from 1 to 6. Those who donate will get movie tickets or vouchers.
And the wait is almost over for the opening of the musical Rent over at the Majestic. And it turns out the woman playing the character Mo has a very special connection to San Antonio. After 2 years of pandemic delays, the show is finally returning, and the performance portrays struggling artists in New York City's East Village during the AIDS crisis. Now, it depicts economic strife, stigma surrounding illness, female empowerment, and portrayal of queer relationships and loss of loved ones, issues that many are going through right now.
Rent focuses on losing people and getting together with the people you love and celebrating life, because we only have a short amount of time.
And this is Lindy's last name. Sounds familiar to you? It should. Her grandfather, Doug Mo, used to coach the San Antonio Spurs from 1976 to 1980. And she says half of her family lives here. So Rent opens tomorrow, March 18th at the Majestic Theater, and runs through Sunday, March 20th.
Hope you guys have a great run. Break a leg. Right now, 544, 56 degrees.
And coming up next, our friends with the Humane Society are joining us with another lovable dog that needs some tender care.
Well, it is puppy time, and Kim's here from the San Antonio Humane Society, and this little guy, just calm, laid back. Who's this?
This is little Einstein, and little Einstein is ready for St. Patrick's Day, if you can't tell with his sweet little bow tie. He is a 9-year-old Chihuahua. He was brought into us, he was a stray, and somebody found him roaming the neighborhood and brought him in. So he's a sweet, kind little senior dog. Definitely wants some place to go that he can just hang out, lay back, everything.
Yeah, probably not little kids, just because he looks like the type that just want to kind of be a couch potato, hang out there, eat 3 squares a day, and then take a nap, and then get up and eat again.
Exactly,
exactly. Yeah, he is just so calm and laid back.
Yeah, and he had a dental extraction with us the other day, so he's on soft foods for now, but yeah, you can't even tell.
He's all set to go. What y'all got going on?
So we've partnered with the Howl at the Moon for our first annual silent disco party. So what that is you can wear headphones. I can wear headphones, and you can jam out to your music, and I can jam out to mine, and nobody else will hear it.
So if I want Saturday Night Fever, that's fine.
Bingo, and if I want girls want to have fun, then we got this.
We're all set.
We're all set.
When's it going to be?
It's going to be this Saturday the 19th. They're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and you can find out all the information on their website or on our Facebook pages.
And if you want to dress disco too, go ahead. Dress like Saturday Night Fever, go right ahead. But Little Einstein is up for adoption out there at the San Antonio Humane Society, 4804 Fredericksburg Road. 226-7461 is the number to call. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Who's dancing to Girls Just Want to Have Fun? You or Kim? Kim?
No,
I was Saturday Night Fever.
Einstein actually will be dancing to that with his little bow tie.
Oh, he's going to sit on the couch looking and laughing, so.
How cute.
It's just about 10 till 6 right now.
Let's check back with Stephen Cavazos about the situation there at Loop 410 and Perrin Vital.
Wish I had better news to report, Mark and Stephanie. 410 at Perrin Vital is the problem spot at this hour. You can see that we at least still have those 2 lanes of traffic that are blocked off due to a crash, and drivers that are trying to get through this aren't having major trouble, but they're definitely seeing a slowdown. Let's go ahead and take a look right here at the map, because this has pretty much stayed steady. We haven't really been seeing it grow so much, that slowdown that's there in the eastbound lanes of 410, but definitely drivers that need to make their way up toward 35 may encounter some slowdowns and could possibly see some delays. But we did look at some alternative routes here for you. So if you have to head up toward 35, just get off of Harry Wurzbach Road and take a left onto Eisenhower. That way you can get onto 35. But keep in mind, you may encounter some flashing lights or stoplights, but make sure that you are thinking ahead before you get out in this direction, because you may be sitting in that for a little while now. But other than that, as we get a wide look at the map at 5:50, we're not seeing any other issues here in the metro area. Still pretty quiet start right now. We're going to watch the roads closely, but we're hoping this clears up before morning rush gets in here, guys.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, we hope so. Well, at least the weather will work out today.
Yes, eventually. It's going to be windy. We do have the red flag warnings out to the west, as we're going to be talking about in just a moment. But, I don't remember the last time, as far as visibilities, that numbers just kept going up and down like this. Just within 5 minutes, it was about 3/8 of a mile visibility, kind of came up somewhat and then bounced up to 9 miles visibility at Randolph, still quarter mile New Braunfels. And also there is mist being reported and has been reported within roughly the past half hour around New Braunfels, Randolph, as well as Seguin. So if you're going up 35, going over on 10, and even on the east and northeast side of Bexar County, watch it, because the roads are definitely going to be damp in those areas. Out to the west, no problem as far as the fog is concerned. Just kind of cut the area in half, and that's where the fog is, because we've got much drier air out there to the west and more humidity and higher dew point temperatures off to the east. And this will be an issue again throughout the rest of the morning, because not much is really going to be changing over the next couple of hours. We'll stay right around mid-50s. Wind is out of the south to southeast, so that'll keep that moisture kind of in place and pumping on in here. We'll start to see more sunshine then as we go into the late morning hours. Temperatures then warm up fairly quickly as well. 75 by noon, and then we're going to be jumping up into the 80s and topping off at 84 degrees later on today. And the wind will continue that swing around to the southwest. Much drier air continues to come in here west, and then eventually northwesterly winds, and that'll be the situation into tonight. And that's the dry air is going to eventually come on in here, but with the dry air in place out to the west especially, again, kind of cut the area in half, and then that's where the red flag warning is out there in our western counties. Again, Medina and Zavala County were just added to this about a half hour, 45 minutes ago. So very high fire danger out there to the west. This is in effect from 1 o'clock up until 10 o'clock tonight. So it stays breezy tonight with that very dry air. Then eventually, with all that dry air, that is going to bring in some relatively cooler temperatures. We keep very dry air in place then throughout the rest of the weekend, and with breezy conditions, the ground is very dry. The fire danger is going to remain high through most of the weekend. Then the humidity finally comes back up, and that's on Monday when we do have that chance for some rain around here. So keep your fingers crossed for that. It's looking encouraging as far as the rain chances on Monday. 75 today at noon, sunny, breezy, got the fog, maybe some mist to deal with this morning. And then those windy conditions later on today, especially out to the west, about 10, 20 mile per hour winds here in town. 84 for a high temperature today. Then tomorrow we start off slightly cooler. Jacket's not a bad idea this morning with mid 50s, kind of that dampish cool. 48 tomorrow, 47 Saturday, 48 on Sunday, mid upper 70s. Great looking weekend. I mean, you lucked out if you had spring break this week, and then we have that chance for some showers on Monday.
Not too bad overall. Especially the weekend.
I'm just trying to soak in everything that's happening there in that forecast. I mean, there's a lot of good.
Yes.
And we need the rain. We just don't want anything severe around here if at all possible.
Right now, it's looking like there will be a couple of thunderstorms around here, but anything really severe would be further up to the north. As it seems like a lot of times the case would be sort of on the tail end of anything kind of coming on through here. So
let's hope it stays that way. Thank you, Mike. 5:53, about 56 degrees.
And talk about an odd sight. We're going to tell you where in Texas a man found this unique pink grasshopper. Where is it?
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, I mean, he was well camouflaged.
Good morning. Coming up here, the latest on the war in Ukraine. The government now saying it is launching counteroffensives against Russian forces outside Kyiv. President Biden calling Vladimir Putin a war criminal and announcing more military aid is on the way. That and so much more right here on GMA.
Well, as we all know, grasshoppers are usually green, but a man up in East Texas found one that definitely stood out in the crowd. Dirk Parker found a pink grasshopper in Wood County, just north of Tyler. Says he spotted it in the grass, ended up walking over and picking it up. So he would have proof. When he took a picture, then he set it back down, snapped a couple more pictures, wanting more information about his find. He decided to look up pink grasshopper online. Yeah, Google that. A professor of biology at UT Tyler says it's an example of a condition I cannot pronounce. It's ERYTHRISM. That's your word of the day. It's where an organism has a pinker or more red color than it would normally have in the wilds. And that truly is wild. Well, don't forget your green today as you get ready to head out the day. It's St. Patrick's Day. After the break, we're talking about St. Patty's Day fun here on GMSA. No fun on the roads, though, in a few spots this morning. Right now, traffic is flowing there at 35 near Brooklyn. There's 90 near 410. A few flashing lights. We'll check back in with Stephen Cavazos, but our entire team is wearing green, and that's a good thing on this Thursday.
A woman is in the hospital fighting for her life after a rollover crash. We're going to tell you if anyone else was hurt.
Ukraine's military changing tactics, going on the offensive. I'm ABC's Faith Abube in Washington. The latest on the war and the new round of U.S. aid heading to Ukraine coming up.
Plus, they've looked the other way for years. We'll tell you why Netflix is planning to crack down on password sharing.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we're at 56 degrees. Go ahead and grab that light green jacket this morning.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
I guess some folks could have a green jacket, right?
Yeah, they'll be really prepared for today.
Good morning, everybody. It is St. Patrick's Day. It's Thursday. That's March 17th.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thanks for joining us. Mike raised his hand. You have a light green jacket?
I was going to say, if you won the Masters golf tournament, you're all set. So.
Wow. How many people do we know that have won the Masters or even been to the Masters?
Okay, as far as fog this morning, and again, numbers keep going up and down as far as visibilities.
Sure.
And up around New Braunfels. If you're going out 35 up to the northeast, going out 10, there's also been some mist reported.
Okay.
Around.
Any fog here in town?
No, mostly cloudy skies. Okay. It's funny, reported out there at the airport right now, and then Randolph has clear skies.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how, you turn the corner basically and you can run into some of this fog. And now since Randolph, which was down to about 3/8 of a mile visibility a half an hour ago, and it is up to 10 miles, still quarter mile in New Braunfels. Some fog is starting to show up as gas down around Pleasanton. And again, some mist going out I-10 has been reported within the hour in Randolph, Seguin, and New Braunfels. So you got to watch those roads that are going to be on the damp side. Here in town, obviously, everything's moving along very well on 410. We don't have any problems there, but you can see some of those clouds that have sort of slid on in here just in about the past half hour to 45 minutes. 57 degrees. It is much milder. A dampish cool with some of the extra humidity. So a jacket is a fairly good idea this morning. That damp cool kind of sneaks down the back of your neck. Mid 50s on average around the area. Red flag warning. Once again, this was the fire weather watch, and that was posted yesterday. That was upgraded to a red flag warning in the overnight hours. And also Medina and Zavala counties were just added to this roughly an hour ago. Very, very low humidity. cloudy, even low humidity right now. Fog's not going to be a problem out to the west if you head out 90 or up 10, but the fire danger is going to be very high later on today with those red flag warnings. That's from 1 o'clock up until 10 o'clock. All the allergens are on the low side this morning, and throughout the rest of the day, temperatures will stay pretty steady this morning. We're going to have some clouds around here, and of course the fog in places, especially off to the east and to the southeast. Clear skies further on out to the west, and then temperatures by mid-morning are going to continue to warm up. We'll make it up into the mid-70s by noon. Wind is going to continue to shift around south right now, southwest, west, and then eventually northwesterly wind by later on late this afternoon. We get up to 84 degrees. Then some cooler air is going to be moving on in here. Relatively speaking, cooler air is going to be moving on in here later on tonight. So just setting us up for a great looking weekend. Details on that and some rain chances down the road. Traffic authorities, Stephen Cavazos, still got all those lights out there?
Oh, we don't, Mike. Actually come bearing good news this time. 410 at Jackson Keller, things are moving. And 410 at Starcrest, you can see that was the area where we saw a bunch of flashing lights out there and a lot of vehicles coming to a slowdown. That's because that crash was reported. But as you're seeing behind me, these shots at TransGuide are showing the commute is not seeing any trouble at this hour. But that's some good news, especially as we inch closer to morning rush. That crash was picked up off of 410 eastbound at Perrin Vital. Again, it has cleared out, and something that we've seen clear out also is that slowdown that we were spotting for a little while. But that's some good news again as we get closer to a busier time. Let's take a drive down here, US 90 eastbound at Ray Ellison. Just be on the lookout. There is a stall that's been reported out over there, but as we get that bird's eye view of the map here in the metro area, no other problems to report just yet. 6:04, we're looking like we're in great shape. As we take a look at these inbound times, that's the same case here. 28 minutes. Pleasant Drive from Pleasanton on 37 northbound. Highway 90 coming in the eastbound lanes, just 18 minutes at this hour, and 17 if you're driving in from Lytle in those northbound lanes with little time. So no delays here. Again, we are watching the roads closely, and we still have some construction that people are going to want to be aware of. We're going to have more of that coming up in the next few minutes. Mark, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephen. New this morning, 3 people recovering after an overnight crash. It happened around midnight. Police say that those in the sedan were rolled over, were down on Applewhite Road in South Bexar County. All 3 are now in the hospital. We know a woman has life-threatening injuries. This time, San Antonio police are not sure who was driving that vehicle.
A Bexar County Sheriff's deputy resigns amid allegations he charged 2 cruises on an elderly woman's credit card. Deputy Eric Reyes is accused of charging 2 $5,000 cruises to that elderly woman's account. Now, he's also accused of trying to get the woman to sign over a credit card to him. The incident report was filed back in January. Reyes resigned from the sheriff's office on March 9th. Internal Affairs and the Public Integrity Unit are still investigating.
Now to the latest developments in Russia's war in Ukraine. You're looking live at Kyiv, where it is now 1:05 in the afternoon. The Ukrainian military says they are now going on the offensive and launching counterattacks against Russian forces around the country as the Russian military continues to strike civilian targets around that country. Just last night, officials in Russia bombed a theater that hundreds of Ukrainian civilians were using for shelter. And following an impassioned plea by Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky to the U.S. Congress yesterday, President Biden has announced the U.S. is sending a new massive round of military aid to Ukraine. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest.
New Russian airstrikes pummeling multiple cities across Ukraine. This theater in Mariupol among the latest targets in the war. The property seen in satellite images marked with large white Russian letters saying children. Ukrainian officials say hundreds of civilians were hiding in the building for safety when it was attacked. It's unclear how many people were injured or killed. In the city of Chernihiv, videos of the aftermath of another devastating strike. The U.S. Embassy in Ukraine tweeting, quote, Russian forces shot and killed 10 people standing in line for bread. Ukrainian forces are stiffening up their resistance, ready to launch counterattacks against the Russian onslaught. One of the tiniest militaries in the world, staring down the Kremlin's army, the second largest in the world.
The Russian army is stalled. The Ukrainian military has been able to stop its movement towards Kyiv and towards most of the big cities. So the Ukrainian military has done what no one expected it to do.
U.S. lawmakers giving Ukraine's President Zelensky a bipartisan standing ovation after he delivered a rare virtual and emotional plea to Congress, asking for the U.S. to send more aid to his country and impose a no-fly zone over Ukraine, a request the U.S. has already rejected.
I'm addressing the President Biden. You are the leader of the nation.
Hours later, President Biden unveiling $800 million in new military aid for Ukraine, including powerful anti-aircraft weapons. And then, for the first time, accusing Russian President Putin of war crimes.
I think he is a war criminal.
And the UN Security Council is holding an emergency meeting today to discuss the growing humanitarian crisis Putin's war has created in Ukraine and surrounding countries like Poland. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
And we now go to an update on the coronavirus. A new study indicating that a fourth dose of the Pfizer or Moderna COVID-19 vaccine was safe and boosted antibody levels, but does not offer much protection from infection.
The fourth dose was found to provide an antibody boost similar to a third one, but it wasn't found to be better at preventing an Omicron infection. The study published Wednesday in the New England Journal of Medicine. The authors say the results suggest we reach maximum immune response, quote, after 3 doses, and that antibody levels can be restored by a fourth dose, end quote.
The author said a fourth dose seemed somewhat more effective against symptomatic disease, but say the study was too small to determine vaccine efficacy.
In your morning consumer headlines, first interest rate hike from the Fed since 2018, helping to push the stock markets up, not only here but around the world. The S&P 500 closed Wednesday up 2.2%, and markets from Shanghai to Sydney followed suit overnight. Investors reassured after the Fed went with the expected quarter-point hike and not something bigger. Retail sales continue to grow, but that growth is slowing sharply. Commerce Department says they were up 0.3% in February after a nearly 5% increase the month before. Back to the grind for the old CEO of Starbucks. Howard Schultz is returning to the post on an interim basis after the coffee giant's current CEO, Kevin Johnson, announced he'll retire next month. Starbucks says it plans to hire a new permanent chief executive later this year.
Microsoft just launched its first AI-powered smart camera for the Surface Hub 2. The $800 device can automatically reframe and adjust lighting without distortions, and it offers a wide view to make sure everyone in the room is visible to remote viewers during meetings. Practice Sets is the newest Google Classroom tool. After a teacher sends out a set of problems, an algorithm will provide hints to students who seem stumped. A resources sidebar will display videos and notes that might be useful. Teachers should know the hints can be turned off. And they've looked the other way for years, but now Netflix will crack down on password sharing. That's thanks in part to shrinking revenues and increased competition. Now, one idea the company is discussing allowing subscribers to continue sharing, but pay more every month.
Rats.
I know.
6:10, about 55 degrees.
And the Spurs postseason chances still alive after a thriller against the Thunder. We're going to have those highlights.
And just ahead, a new development in the Jussie Smallett case. The actor released from jail last night. We have details.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Taking a look outside with live cam. We're starting at 55 degrees. It'll warm up nicely. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Just about 6:15, a surprise development in the Jussie Smallett case. The actor recently sentenced to jail time for staging a hate crime just to get attention.
Now he's being released. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the latest.
This morning, actor Jussie Smallett is a free man.
Jussie, how does it feel to be free?
Smallett walking out of a Chicago jail last night, flanked by security guards and his family. Just 1 week ago, he was sentenced to 5 months behind bars after being convicted of staging a hate crime for publicity, falsely reporting to police that he was the victim of an anti-black and anti-gay attack in 2019. But yesterday, an Illinois appeals court ordered Smallett be released while he appeals the conviction, acknowledging Smallett's offense was nonviolent.
We're here because the appellate court realized this was the right thing to do.
Smallett silent as he was ushered into a waiting SUV. His lawyers saying the actor broke down when they told him he could go home.
He pushed his hands on the glass and his eyes got teary. I think he had nearly given up.
His lawyer says Smallett had not eaten anything for 6 days, only drinking water. They argued he faced possible physical harm if he remained behind bars, a fear Smallett spoke of while being led to jail last week.
And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. I am not suicidal, and I am innocent.
The sheriff's office says Smallett was kept in a private cell with security cameras and an officer stationed at the entrance. Meanwhile, Smallett's appeal centers around the concept of double jeopardy. His lawyers argue he already paid a fine and served community service under a previous deal before he was re-indicted, but prosecutors argue the fine and community service were part of a voluntary agreement and should not qualify as punishment. Smallett's next court date will be determined once his lawyers file their appeal. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Right now, 6:16.
Let's go ahead and check back with Stephen Cavazos. I was looking at Loop 410 and Perrin-Bridle. That looks a little better there.
Yeah, a lot better than what we saw about an hour ago. Right now, a lot of the roads are looking the same. We're not really seeing issues out there. US 90 at 410, 35 at South Cross. Traffic is moving as everyone continues to wake up on the St. Patrick's Day. So green roads match the day as obviously. But right now, do be on the lookout because we do have this stall off US 90 eastbound at General McMullen Drive. Stalls seem to be the big issue throughout the morning. We're not really seeing them cause issues when it comes to traffic, but definitely something drivers just be alert of and check those vehicles. Let's drive up here toward 35. Quick reminder, there is some road work that will be taking place. Keep in mind this started on Monday, March 14th, but will wrap on Friday, March 18th. Drivers that will start at 9 in the morning and wrap around 4 in the afternoon. What you can expect here is a double lane closure on the northbound frontage road from Shin Oak Drive to Pat Booker Road. Again, that will be wrapping up tomorrow at around 4 p.m. So just again, something to be prepared of. But as we drive up toward 35, no real issues as you can see if you're driving in or from to New Braunfels or from New Braunfels. Again, things are looking fine here, but we're going to watch the roads closely. And as the morning does go on, we'll give you those updates. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, looks good. And for those headed to school, maybe some green.
Wear your green this morning and grab a jacket, even though temperatures are up somewhat compared to. Yeah.
Did you notice not only Steph wearing a green dress, she's got the avocado earrings on?
Yeah.
I just did notice that. Oh, what's the fashion plate? As you're heading off to school or heading off to work this morning, a light jacket's not a bad idea. We do have lots of clouds out there. We do have to watch out for some patchy fog. It is thick in places. More sunshine later on today, but then the windy conditions and the drier air that's causing the problem out to the west. We were talking about fog, and New Braunfels has now dropped down to 0 visibility. There is some mist that has been reported in the past half hour or so. Well, now New Braunfels just changed. And that's how quickly things do change right before your eyes, basically, as far as the visibility is concerned. But that's still a lot of fog up there in New Braunfels. We've also had some mist around Seguin as well as Randolph, even though Randolph is now reporting clear skies and 10 miles visibility. Just got to keep an eye out for some of this fog. But we do have some clouds that have moved on in here now, and that helps to prevent a lot of fog from forming up. It keeps the heat from escaping out into space quite as quickly. 57 in town, mid-50s in the hill country. New Braunfels at 48, so we've got, with the dew point temperature at 48, 100% humidity. And with this extra humidity around here, even though temperatures are milder, and like I said, grab a jacket because it is that sort of damp chill because moist air conducts the heat away from your body. So that's why you tend to almost feel colder on a morning like this as opposed to when the air is really, really dry. Temperatures won't move that much in the next few hours. We will still keep the threat of fog around in places through most of the morning commute. Then we start to see more sunshine as we go into the mid to late morning hours, 75 at noon. And the wind, which is primarily out of the southeast here in town right now, is going to continue to kind of swing around to the southwest and to the west later on today, then eventually to the northwest, really pulling in the drier air, helping to get temperatures up to 84 degrees, a lot of sunshine. Then the cooler air follows in behind that. The drier air is going to be in place in the western half of our area throughout most of the day. And then with the windy conditions, that's what then prompts the red flag warning off to the west of us. I'm going to show you that in a second. Throughout the rest of today, clouds will continue to clear on out. We are going to have a beautiful day tomorrow as well as on Saturday. Sunday, then, clouds increase late in the day on Sunday. Monday, we do have a chance for a couple of showers around the area. Again, this tends to paint things in with somewhat of a broad brush, but there is that rain chance around here, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms. But notice how most of the really heavy activity would be further up to the north and to the northeast, although we may actually see a couple of thunderstorms around here. It looks like the brunt of it would be further up to the north. At least we got some rain chances, though. 75 degrees today at noon. Mostly sunny skies and breezy, and then a high temperature up to 84. Of course, we do have the red flag warning. Goes into effect at 1 o'clock up until 10 o'clock for western counties. Does include Medina County as well as Bandera County as Kerr. So going out 90, going up 10 later on this afternoon. Definitely watch it as far as any burning is concerned. Tomorrow we start off at 48 degrees, get up to 75. It is going to be windy again tomorrow, so wouldn't be surprised if more potentially red flag warnings are posted tomorrow, maybe even on Saturday, just given as dry as things are with that low humidity. Humidity comes back in Sunday, chance of rain Monday.
Well, watch out for it. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Special good morning to my mom and dad watching us on the KSAT app in Charlotte, North Carolina this morning.
Good morning. They're checking to see if you wore green.
They are. They noticed. They did.
Good thing you're on your best behavior.
I know. For now, 621, about 55 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, a thriller at the AT&T Center last night. After the break, we will recap the Spurs matchup with Oklahoma City.
I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be, so I'm walking towards this shot, which looks like we planned it. All right, the Spurs in a must-win situation last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder, trying to catch New Orleans, who have a 2-game lead over the Spurs for that 10th play-in position for the postseason. Silver and Black got to work early, leading by as many as 11 points in the first quarter. Second quarter, Thunder would tie the game at 51, but the Spurs knocked down 5 threes to take the lead in the halftime. Later in the fourth, OKC comes back up by 1 with a little over a minute to the go. It would come down to the wire. Spurs last chance. Ball goes to Lonnie Walker. He could be the hero for San Antonio. Fires a 3, hits nothing but the bottom of the net. Spurs hold on to win by a bucket, 122-120. San Antonio now getting ready to face New Orleans. Pelicans come to town tomorrow night. Tip off at 7:30 at the AT&T Center. Got a win last night.
How exciting. I like looking at the video. I didn't see it. I was asleep by then, but how cool.
It's so much more fun to wake up to a win.
Yes, it is. Very, very good. And again, go Spurs, go. Time now, 6:25, 55 degrees for now.
Ahead in our next half hour, police near Reno are searching for a young woman possibly abducted from a Walmart parking lot. Now they're releasing new surveillance images. We have details ahead.
And we're going to have the very latest on a deadly crash in West Texas involving college golf teams. At least 9 people killed.
TransGuide here at home. We are looking at 90 at Nogalitos right now. Heavy traffic out there, but it is flowing. We'll see if there are any traffic trouble spots as we approach the bottom of the hour. You're watching GMSA. We'll be back after this break.
Some monster takes them. You don't know what's happened. You don't know where they are.
This morning, the search intensifying for an 18-year-old Nevada woman who may have been kidnapped from her car at a Walmart parking lot. The details ahead.
Back here at home, outside with live cam. The moon is out, getting ready to set on this St. Patrick's Day as we wait for the sun to come up. You also may notice clouds and fog, depending on where you are. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, March 17th. Wearing green for a reason this morning.
That's right. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you're having a great morning so far. It's nice and cool for that light green jacket.
Yes, indeed. And we've got enough humidity out there to where a jacket is kind of needed because it said, as I say, sneaks down the back of your neck, that sort of dampish cool. And yeah, we don't have those perfectly clear skies like we've had the past few mornings. Moon is sort of hidden behind that banner up there. But one thing to note, though, visibility is pretty good. There is, though, fog off to the east and to the northeast. New Braunfels, you've been sitting in fog for most of the morning. There's also been some mist being reported. Also down around Randolph, even though visibility is up to 10 miles within the past hour, there was some mist report around Randolph as well as Seguin. So going up 35, going out 10, things could get slippery. And then there's a hint of fog down there around Pleasanton. We had some clear skies overnight, and that's what really helped with this fog. But now the clouds have moved in, so that helps to prevent a lot of widespread thick fog from developing. But we do have those patches out there. 57 in town, mid-50s, even hill country. And then we've got a couple of 40 readings over here, readings in the 40s, pardon me. Now, we do have the red flag warning that goes into effect later on today. We've got humidity in the eastern half of the area, but the dry air really comes on in here throughout the day, and the winds start to pick up. So that's what's prompting that very high fire danger, and outdoor burning is not recommended at all. And actually, the Weather Service is kind of calling this a critical fire danger, not only today, but also the next couple of days, because we are going to continue to have very dry air. We've sort of been a reinforcing shot of that dry air, and also breezy conditions the next couple of days, especially today out in the hill country. All the allergens are on the low side this morning, and few clouds out there, mostly cloudy skies at the airport right now. Those patches of fog, milder temperatures, then more sunshine later on today. Yes, it is going to be breezy to windy. Winds are going to be gusty, about 20, 25, 30 miles per hour, especially in the hill country. Mid 80s here in town, so very warm. Then we have a cool front moving on through here. Cool front only by name. Yes, it will shave a few degrees off temperatures. We'll be in the mid 70s, still slightly above normal. Sunny, great looking weather. Jacket weather in the morning, great in the afternoon, all the way through the weekend. Then the humidity increases late Sunday, and still looking encouraging for decent chance of rain on Monday. Details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos, you seen any mist on the roads in your campus?
I've been watching the TransGuide cameras, Mike, checking out the map as well. Not really seeing anything just yet, but working with our friends over there to see if we can get a good picture of how some of the conditions are looking like this morning. But what we can tell you based off of these shots, it looks like traffic is moving very nice and easily without any trouble this morning here on a lot of these TransGuide cameras. But be on the lookout, as I mentioned, we do have a stall here off US 90 eastbound right there at General McMullen Drive. We did have a crash earlier this morning, but thankfully that is cleared out. And as we get that wide view of the map at this hour, we're not seeing big problems here in the metro area. But as Mike mentioned, you definitely want to drive carefully this morning. We are working with our friends over there at TransGuide to see if we can take a look at some of those conditions that could possibly impact your drive time. But if you're traveling into San Antonio, thankfully, no delays here just yet. Slight slow down there at 24 minutes coming in from 87 in Lavernia, but that's pretty normal. One last look at the roads at this hour, 37 at Fair Avenue. The morning is getting going, and we'll have more updates coming up in the next few moments. Guys.
Stephen, talk to you in just a bit. San Antonio police making sure there's no sale, only jail when it comes to prostitution in one West Side neighborhood. They conducted a crackdown there yesterday, rounding up suspects who they say were would-be customers.
Katrina Weber is live at the corner of Guadalupe and South Picoso with that story. Katrina, it sounds like this was what police call a John detail.
Well, that's exactly right based on the arrest. Every one of the suspects is a man facing the kind of charges that you would associate with customers of prostitutes. Now, these men all were rounded up in the evening and afternoon hours yesterday. They range in age from their 20s to their 40s and all face a charge of solicitation of prostitution. One of them, 34-year-old Carlos Freire, has an additional charge related to possession of marijuana. We don't know how police conducted this particular operation, but in past cases, they have used an undercover officer to pose as a prostitute. Then they arrest the men who take the bait. All these suspects were booked into jail. Some of them have already bonded out. Now, in many cases, police will conduct these operations over the course of several days, so it's possible there could be more arrests. In this case, all of the people who they picked up were in the area either on or around the 3000 block of Guadalupe. Reporting live on the west side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you. Some of the other stories are following this morning. New video following that deadly crash out in West Texas. Pleasanton High School graduate Travis Garcia was one of the 9 people killed. Sam Fowler with Pleasanton Express shared an interview with Garcia. He was speaking after advancing in a golf tournament last year. Garcia continued his golf career while attending the University of the Southwest in Hobbs, New Mexico. Garcia was in the van with 8 other members of the university's golf team when DPS troopers say a pickup truck crossed the center lane and hit the van head on early yesterday. Happened out in Andrews County. That's about 30 miles east of the border with the state of New Mexico.
And now to the latest development in Russia's war in Ukraine. You're looking at a live shot of Kyiv, Ukraine. And Ukraine's president made a passionate plea to the U.S. Congress for more help fighting the Russians. And now we're learning about what's included in a new round of military aid being delivered to Ukraine. ABC's Faith Abube has the details.
This morning, more sophisticated U.S. weapons are headed to Ukraine. The White House announcing nearly $1 billion in new military aid. It includes 800 anti-aircraft systems, 9,000 shoulder-mounted armor-piercing missiles, 7,000 machine guns, shotguns, grenade launchers, and mortars, and 100 so-called switchblade drones, or kamikaze drones, the small unmanned drones that can fly directly into targets and detonate. On Wednesday, President Zelensky addressing Congress, appealing for aerial support. He played a graphic video showing civilian casualties in the streets of Ukraine, bringing some members of Congress to tears. He made references to September 11th and Pearl Harbor, and then he spoke English to address President Biden.
I wish you to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace.
Hours later, President Biden praising Zelensky and accusing Vladimir Putin of war crimes.
I think he is a war criminal.
It's the first time the president has called Putin a war criminal.
He was speaking from his heart and speaking from what he's seen on television, which is barbaric actions by a brutal dictator through his invasion of a foreign country.
Meanwhile, Putin gave his own speech Wednesday.
На тех, кто зарабатывает деньги здесь, у нас, а живет там.
Appearing angry, claiming the West wants to destroy Russia, and said Russian military tactics have been completely justified.
In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
And police near Reno are searching for a young woman possibly abducted from a Walmart parking lot.
And now they are releasing new surveillance images. ABC's Andrea Fujii has more.
This morning, the search intensifying for an 18-year-old Nevada woman who may have been kidnapped in her own car.
Some monster takes them. You don't know what's happened. You don't know where they are.
Naomi Erion was last seen Saturday around 5 a.m. in a Walmart parking lot near Reno, waiting for a shuttle bus to take her to work at a nearby company. When she didn't show up and didn't return home, her family called police.
They confirmed that she had missed her shifts both Saturday and Sunday, which was really unusual. My daughter was extremely reliable.
The local sheriff's office says this person may be involved in Erion's disappearance. They say surveillance video, which has not been released, shows a person walking from a nearby homeless camp, lurking around vehicles before getting into the driver's seat of Erion's car, and then driving away with Erion in the passenger seat.
To me, it looked like a clear abduction.
Police found Erion's car Tuesday, abandoned in a nearby industrial park. Detectives say evidence in the car suggests her disappearance was the result of a crime, but they wouldn't specify what they found. Investigators also say they believe the driver of this truck has a direct connection to Erion's disappearance. With so many questions, Erion's family says they worry more with each passing day.
We can't lose sight of what's really important, and that's Naomi's life. Time's ticking. We're out of time.
Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
Now to the pandemic, there is a change in our COVID-19 risk level right here in Bexar County.
Metro Health first indicated a low risk earlier this week, and that has now bumped up to the mild category. 71 new cases are being reported, along with one new COVID-related death.
Right now, there are 152 COVID-19 patients in local hospitals. Last time we saw that number was late last year.
And it is a growing problem in Texas. There are not enough teachers. Some retired teachers say the job isn't what it used to be. So some teachers today are facing more challenges like COVID. Others say students do not respect teachers anymore. And San Antonio ISD says before the pandemic, it was looking to hire 34 teachers, but now it needs 114. And nightlife on St. Mary Street could change. Happening today, businesses and neighbors in the Tobin Hill community will meet and try to come to an agreement. People in that area have been complaining about trash, fights, and property damage. There is a proposal to limit parking in the area and hire staff to pick up the trash. Another idea is having bar owners share the cost of hiring more off-duty officers for that area.
Also happening today, a blood drive. Our area doesn't have enough blood right now, but you can help by donating some over at the Wonderland of the Americas Mall, 410 and I-10. Blood drive happening today from 1 in the afternoon till 6 o'clock this evening. Donors can get things like movie tickets or vouchers.
And right now on our website, if you haven't had a chance to plan your Fiesta or even check out the event list, we have you covered. Fiesta is returning to springtime dates and many of the big events. And since it will be back in full force for the first time since 2019, we have a list of numbers-based Fiesta Facts.
Here's a look at some of those numbers. $340 million is what Fiesta generates for the San Antonio community. 2.5 million, typically 2.5 million people, rather, typically attend the festivities. $60,000, the average cost for a Fiesta Queen of the Court's dress.
And we can't forget the food. 32,000 chicken on a sticks are eaten by Fiesta goers, along with 25,000 tortillas, 17,000 pounds of beef, 11,000 pounds of chicken, 5,000 tamales, and 3,000 turkey legs.
And after waiting 2 years, we're ready to eat all of it.
Yes, we are.
Only 25,000 tortillas? I thought it'd be something like 50.
Well, I mean, maybe because the chicken on the stick kind of weighs it out.
That's true. That's true. 641, about 56 degrees.
And don't forget your green as you get ready to head out the door this morning. After the break, we are talking about St. Patrick's Day fun here on GMSA.
Breaking news, it is St. Patrick's Day. And in a few hours, the San Antonio River will be turning green. That's happening this morning, or rather this afternoon from 1 to 3. If you can't make it, there'll be another chance to see the river dyed green on Saturday afternoon. The tradition has been happening here since 1968.
And also happening Saturday, you can check out the St. Patrick's Day Parade. It was actually ranked one of the best in the U.S. So online lifestyle website Thrillist compiled a list of the best places to see a St. Patrick's Day Parade, and the Alamo City came in fourth. We are following New York City, New Orleans, and Chicago coming in at number 1. And unlike the other top cities, San Antonio's parade will be happening on Saturday at 4 p.m. along the Riverwalk. And there are several other ways to celebrate. We have all those details on our website at KSAT.com.
And if you're wondering where on the Riverwalk, just try to focus on Arneson River Theater.
Yeah, that's a good area there.
Good spot for the parade coming up on Saturday. So a bit delayed, but that's okay. Still a lot of people are busy on this St. Patrick's Day.
That's true. At least there was 2 chances to see that river green.
Agreed. 645, let's see how things are looking on the roads right now. Stephen, what's up?
And another day to wear more green as well. I got a little bit right here,
yes,
but you know what else is looking green? Some of these roads right now. 35 upper level at Brooklyn. We're seeing traffic moving through there. US 90 at 410. And not really a lot of issues to report from what we've been spotting on these TransGuide cameras. Now, I am working with their friends over there to see if we can spot any of those foggy conditions that Mike's been talking about. But right now, 37 at Houston, things don't look too bad out there in terms of traffic. But let's go ahead and take you to the map because we still have this stall that's been there for quite a while here off US 90 eastbound at General McMullen. It hasn't caused any issues, but wider look at the map does show, as I mentioned, green is the theme today. As you can see right here, as evident on our map. We did have one crash off of 410, but that cleared out after about 30 minutes or so. So we're not going to see any delays, especially if you have to head out the door in the next few moments. Things are looking fine at 410 at Bandera, 281 at St. Mary's, but of course we're going to continue to watch the roads closely, guys.
Thank you, Stephen.
It's good to see green on the screen, especially today.
We're seeing clouds on the screen, too. Unlike the past few mornings when it's been absolutely gorgeous. We've been watching the moon set. Tomorrow's the full moon, of course, and the moon is somewhere about right in there. But obviously, we've got a good cloud cover. That has really helped out with the fog situation, or the lack of fog here in town. Haven't seen anything reported as far as fog, nor any mist in any of the spots at San Antonio, at Port SA, or down around Stinson. Now, Randolph was a different situation. Had some fog and mist earlier this morning, and still a lot of fog around New Braunfels, and some has been reported around Seguin, with mist being reported Randolph at New Braunfels as well as Seguin within the past couple of hours. And with the humidity relatively high, it would take a while for some of that to really kind of clear out off the street. So the streets may be damp going up toward the northeast. Elsewhere, pretty good. Go down 281 and 37 south, and you're going to run into some fog, a couple of patches around Pleasanton. Temperatures are in the mid 50s right now. It's sort of that dampish chill because we have relatively high humidity, and it just kind of, as I say, sneaks down the back of your neck just a little bit. So jacket's a pretty good idea, even though we're roughly 5 to 10 degrees warmer than where we've been the past couple of days, and we'll be dealing with some of this fog for the next few hours. Then things will start to clear out. Temperatures are going to be warming up. We'll have wind primarily out of the south here in town. Different situation off to the west throughout the midday hours. We'll make it up into the 70s by noon, and then later on today, we'll top off in the mid 80s. So definitely on the warm side, anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above normal. Plenty of sunshine. Wind continues to shift around west, southwest, and then finally northwesterly winds later on today. And then a cool front by name, basically. Yeah, it'll knock temperatures down somewhat, is going to be moving on through here. So here's what happens with the humidity. We've got the humidity right now, and then the dry air comes on in here in the hill country, and with the windy conditions, that's what prompts the red flag warnings, and that dry air will continue to move on in here over the course of the overnight hours and throughout the rest of the next couple of days. Once that front moves on through here, yes, temperatures, it's not a big blast of cold air by any means, but it'll just knock us back down into the 40s, slightly below normal for the low temperatures. Notice how they start to come back up Monday and Tuesday with somewhat more humidity around here, and high temperatures will be back into the mid and upper 70s, still slightly above normal, just no 80s. And then we peak on Tuesday, then drop back down. Another weak front's going to be moving on through here, and preceding that next front on Tuesday, we do have those rain chances, which still looking encouraging for rain on Monday. 75 degrees at noon, sunny, breezy conditions, and windy today, especially out to the west. 84 for a high temperature, and again, that dry air is in place, and those winds really start to pick up, and that's what prompts the red flag warning. And that does include Medina County, Bandera, Kerr, so going out 10, 90. You're going to have very high fire danger. It's a critical condition, according to that's how the Weather Service has described it, as far as the fire threat for the next couple of days and really in through most of the weekend, because we're going to continue to keep this dry air in place. It's still going to be breezy enough. And then we do have some rain around here on Monday. Not a huge drought breaker, but at least it's a decent chance of rain right now.
At least there's that chance.
Right. So enjoy the beautiful weather. Skip any outdoor burning. Best thing to do.
Yes, sir. 6:50, about 56 degrees. You're watching GMSA.
And tomorrow on GMSA, photography, sewing, puzzles, gardening. These are all hobbies that can relax and entertain. However, are there more benefits to those hobbies? Find out tomorrow on GMSA.
Outside with live cam, waiting for that sun to come up, and we're not seeing it yet. Maybe hit snooze once or twice. Be right back. You're watching GMSA.
I'm constantly nodding because I know everything about furniture, but with the business side, I'm feeling a little lost.
QuickBooks can help. An easy way to get paid, pay your staff, and know where your business stands. New business, no problem. Success starts with Intuit QuickBooks.
Got lingering odors? Grab Febreze Small Spaces. Press firmly to activate, and Small Spaces continuously eliminates and prevents odors to freshen up any small room for up to 45 days. Febreze.
Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry, don't worry.
Good morning. Coming up here, the latest on the war in Ukraine. The government now saying it is launching counteroffensives against Russian forces outside Kyiv. President Biden calling Vladimir Putin a war criminal and announcing more military aid is on the way. That and so much more right here on GMA.
6:55.
Let's go ahead and see if our traffic is looking lucky this morning. Over there with
So
Steven.
far, right, we don't want to push our luck, but things are A-OK right now. 35 at South Cross, you can see things are moving there, and we're not spotting any big issues. Morning is still somewhat young, but we're now getting into that hour where things get busy. Keep in mind, there is one stall at 410 northbound at Old Pearsall Road, but wider look, 655, not seeing much else here in the metro area, but we're going to watch the roads closely. Let's check in with Mike.
One thing you notice in those pictures there, we're not seeing a lot of fog, nor in this one. We do have a lot of clouds out there this morning. No glow of the early morning sunrise. The thickest, and it's been very thick all morning long, New Braunfels, quarter-mile visibility. There's been some mist reported. If you're going up 35 out 10 in towards Seguin, you may run into a couple of damp spots, some fog around Pleasanton. Temperatures are in the mid-50s on average, and throughout the day, we'll see more sunshine later on today. 84 for a high temperature. It is definitely going to be windy, and we do have the red flag warning for our western counties today.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Yeah, enjoy. Have a great day. Don't forget to see the river dyed green, and we'll see you back here at 9.